Yo, what's up guys, we're back here now with a brand new video in AOR once again, this time round 13 in Japan, so only 3 races left now, but yeah, I can only apologise for the late uploads now, only 3 left now, so hopefully can get them out as soon as possible, preferably before Friday or whenever F1 2017 comes out. But yeah, loading up setup now, you get to see a bit of a change in my setup, going by what happened in Italy with the slipstream and everything. So after what happened there, I felt like I'd go for 7.4 wings. I know it sounds crazy, but I felt like with everything I put together, I felt like 7.4 was pretty decent. Along with the suspension setup, it just worked pretty good together. And looking at the times now, 33.3 by Limitless on softs. I'm pretty sure you can improve that a bit more. But yeah, like went for the 7.4 wings mainly because I just didn't want anyone in my slipstream this race. I just wanted to have a clean start, and if I'm in front, then I was sure I could pull away with those low wings, and it just wouldn't give the cars behind much of a chance on the straights, unlike what happened in Italy. And yeah, I think the actual proper setup, the best setup to run is probably 8.7 or 7.6, I'd say, or even 8.6 is pretty decent. So yeah, running 7.4 now on the medium tyres, going to qualify on the mediums instead of softs, mainly just to do the one stop really, because the one stop's pretty fast around here, and it's much quicker than the two stop. And yeah, just pretty shocked that no one knew this last season, because I think the top 3, top 4 went for the two stop. Me, Sierra and Martin went for the two stop, and turns out one stop was way quicker anyway, so probably should have started on mediums last season as well, would have been much easier. But coming into turn 1 now on these medium tyres, going a touch wide, but it's slowing fast out right here, pretty decent. And coming into the S's now, this lap I went pretty cautious through the S's and pretty cautious in sector 2 as well, just wanted to get a lap on the board and just put in a banker to attack on my last lap now. So coming across the line now with the DRS, and it's 33.6, not a bad first lap to be honest, but coming into turn 1 now and knowing that I can improve that, not missing the apex slightly, but just trying to, this time we actually went in fast in and slow out, so we've lost a bit of time, half a tenth lost, but through the S's you get to see now how much time we will gain. And you can see already, look at that, 3 tenths through 1 corner or 2 corners there. It just shows how cautious I was on the last lap. And through the end of the S's there, coming into finish sector 1 about 2 tenths up on our time, through Degner 1 there, bit of oversteer on the entry, but nicely through Degner 2 as well, and 2.5 tenths up, coming to the hairpin, make sure not to lock up to maximise the entry and exit here, hugging the apex slightly, and on the exit keeping it nicely short shifting to avoid wheel spin, coming up to 3 tenths now, about 3 tenths up on our time, coming to spoon, braking just before the 50 meter board, turning in nicely, keeping it on the apex, half the car on the apex on the right, then switch onto the apex on the left there, oversteer on the exit, which is not good at all, losing a touch of time there, I think about 200s or 300s lost, but either way we're still about nearly 3 tenths up on our time. Through 130, I own this chicane to go now, braking just before the 100 meter board, hugging the apex on the right, and then switch to the left. Only 1 corner to go now, oversteer on the exit, short shift to avoid the wheel spin again, DRS open, come across the line now, a 33.3, which is okay. I think 33.1 should have been the actual lap time if it wasn't for the mistakes, but it was okay at the end. It gave us P3, and Finch actually out qualified us by about half a tenth, but I think it was Lucky Dog's AI car hit him in qualifying and it gave him a penalty, so that's a real shame. That's a real shame for Finch there. He gets to start, I think, 7th now, and yeah, I'm just not 100% sure what happened if Lucky Dog actually crashed into him or his AI crashed into him, but yeah, whatever happened, he got a 5-place grid penalty there, real shame. But looking at the race now, with the championship already sealed in the drivers and constructors, we can just focus on just racing and having fun really, and seeing that Limits is on pole, he's on the soft tyres, so that confirms that he's doing 2 stop, so he's not really in our race. Like, we don't want to be battling with him too much, we just want to focus on the cars behind. But nevertheless, I do look forward to having a battle with him, as we've not had one, we've not had a proper one in season 12 and 13, except Austria. That was pretty nice. But here we are now, 5 lights And lights out, away we go. It looks like a lag start by Limitless. Then we get the perfect start for the run into turn 1. A Mika style start there, like 1999. And into turn 1 we have Frankish on the outside, who's also on the soft tyres. He's trying to make it work around the outside, braking incredibly late and managed to keep it around the outside. Give him space on the inside there. And still space on there, like still side by side through these corners here. He's actually taken the lead for momentarily, then we skip back into the lead straight away through the right hander. And now I think Limitless has also gone past Frankish now, and there's a crash behind. I think that's Stu and Limitless. No, Stu and Finch actually, sorry. And looks like they've collided, and that's a real shame for them too. But here we are now, end of sector 1, starting sector 2. We're in the lead on the medium tyres. Limitless with the lag start. Dropped down to 3rd or 4th, but moved back up to 2nd place. And right now, this is good for us because we have 2 cars in between me and Martin, I think, or me and Alonso. And Alonso and Martin were also on the medium tyres, so we have to focus on them mainly. Not on Limitless and Frankish because they're on the soft tyres and they'll be fast in the first few laps. So if they're fast, just let them through, not battle with them. Our battle is with Martin and Alonso. And coming now on the straight, you get to see now. We don't lose, well, Limits doesn't gain too much on us because we're running low wings, but you can see his car lags forward, so I just back out of that straight away. Don't want to risk anything through the 130R there. Frank is trying to go around the outside into chicane, but we hold him off nicely, and now we're still in 2nd place. We'll lose the lead to Limitless, but for me, that's not much of a problem at all. I still have a car between me and Alonso, and I think Martin's right behind Alonso there. So yeah, as long as I can stay ahead of them, it'll be nice because I feel like I can pull on a decent gap on these in the setup, and I felt really comfortable going into this race as well. I felt like race pace was pretty much there, and yeah, at this point I felt like it was my win to lose, to be honest, because like I said, just felt really comfortable. And yeah, bit of a weird twitch there, that was not nice. And Frankish actually trying to go down the inside here. We look in the mirror, and we look in the mirror too long there and actually cut the corner, getting our first warning. But yeah, looking at the race now, like I said, I just felt very confident and comfortable as well. But after what happened in Monza, I was just so determined to win this race. I felt like, yeah, I was really hungry for this race win, to be honest. And last season, I felt like I was also there to win, but just had some problems in the race and wrong strategy as well last race, so which cost me a shot at the win. And I was still kind of gutted about that, but yeah, so determined to win here. Switching to like lap 3 now, you get to see how much we gain on that back straight there with the low setup, the low wing setup. Sure, the slipstream also played a part, but like, I felt like the low setup, the low wing setup is actually gaining us a lot. And you get to see now DRS open, bit of slipstream, and you get to see we go from the outside, we switch back to the inside, throw him a dummy, coming into turn 1 now. And Limitless actually tries to go for the switchback, cutback on the inside. We're still side by side through here. Coming into the left hand, and now we're still giving space, and I just back out of it completely. There's no point fighting right now. I saw that Martin's up to 3rd now, so I just back out of that. And I know Limitless never makes it easy for anyone, and knowing that the championship is sealed, he's not going to make it easy at all. So there's no point me trying to battle that. If we went side by side for the next 3-4 corners there, it would have just lost us a lot of time, and I'm talking about half a second, maybe even a second. So, and we lost half a second just by that battle anyway. So it just shows if we battled a few more corners that we'd have lost like a second to the cars behind. And my goal here right now is just clear Martin, like just keep him out of my DRS, keep him out of my slipstream, and as soon as Limitless tyres fall off, I can just go for it. And yeah, so using Limitless's soft pace to our advantage at the same time, because we're not really battling him too much, but we're just sticking behind him, just waiting for the right time. And here again, you'll get to see on the back straight how much time we gain. Tyres are looking fairly good. I felt like I saved them a decent amount, but yeah, you get to see now Rich, and we switched it to lean straight away because we know how just look and lean as well. How much time we're going through 130R as well. Just shows the low wing setup is playing a massive part in this race, and I love that. Like, I wish I did that in the last few races. I did it in China, I remember doing it in China, but I was switching quickly back to this race now. We're going down these Limitless, much easier move than last lap, and it looks like we're going to keep the lead through turn 2 as well, so that's nice, and we won't lose too much time through the S's. But yeah, going back to the wing setup, like I said, after what happened in Monza with a slipstream, I felt like a low wing setup would help me a lot in this race, and I ran it at China, I believe. Yeah, I did. I ran it at China, and it played again a massive part in that race, because Martin didn't really have much of an answer on the back straight in the last few laps, because he was running a higher setup. And yeah, it's just, I wish I ran the low setup in Monza as well. I was running 4.3 there, but I could have probably tried to run 2.1 or 3.2. And now you can see onto lap 5 now, end of lap 5. We're on purple now, 3/10 up on our time. Coming into the chicane now, making a mistake there, braking really late, just locking up right before the turning point. And coming across the line now, it's a 36.1, so we've lost about, I think 2/10 we lost in the last sector there. And Limitless looks like he'll go for a move, so brake early, just let him past. Again, just no point batting. If we go side by side through turn 1, turn 2, we're gonna lose lots of time. And right now I have the gap to Martin, so this is good. Keeping this gap is really important. The last thing I want is him and Alonso right behind me, because they have strong pace here as well, and as shown in quali as well, they do have strong pace, and in the race they're usually quicker them too. So yeah, just need to make sure to stay ahead of them and not have them right behind me, because like looking at now 1.2 seconds between me and Martin, that's enough. That for me, that's enough, and I can see Alonso right behind him as well. So as long as we're clear of them, it's good. And I can see Limitless struggling a tiny bit here. I think his tyres are starting to go off. It's lap 6, so that's pretty normal for the soft tyres to go off. But yeah, like I said, just need to keep the gap to Martin. Tyres looking fairly good, and just using lean through here, just saving fuel, because we don't really, if we run like standard of Rich through here, there's literally no point, because we're only going to get stuck behind we're only going to get stuck behind Limitless, so there's literally no point running standard of Rich there. And on the straight, just look at how much time we gained there, and the gap's 5/10 now to Martin, so we've lost a lot of time through sector 2 there to Martin. So it is clear that Limitless's tyres are struggling at this point. And coming now with the DRS, it should be an easy move. Put it into Rich. Don't even need to go to the inside. We're already on the outside. Martin sets a 36.1. Well, we set a 37.2. Just shows we lost a second to Martin that lap. So yeah, right now I have to push, and I felt like I could do what I did in China in the last few laps. I put in Rich now through the S's, and this means that even if Limitless's tyres are slightly better in their section because of the soft tyres, I felt like with Rich and me just pushing to the absolute limit, I felt like I could open the gap, and it looks like we've opened a massive gap just in sector 1 alone, and dropping it down to standard now. You can see we're 2/10 up on our time, purple as well, and the gap's 8/10 to Martin. The gap to Limitless isn't accurate at all due to his lag start, so it said like 300s, which is not correct at all. But yeah, about 8/10 to Martin it said there, and I think through sector 2 we can open a lot as well, using Rich again. And just the goal here is just to be 1 second or more ahead of Martin. Come like as soon as Martin overtakes Limitless and is up to second, we need to be a second clear of Martin, and that will make our race much easier, because it will just go down to lap times rather than like just slipstream battle, pretty much like how Monza was. And you can see 3/10 again in the purple sector, well 3/10 purple sector. So, and we made a mistake here last time on our personal best, so I think we can gain a bit more time through here as well. 36.1 was what Martin set. What do we set now? A 35.8, so that's about 3/10 quicker than Martin's time. And a bit of slipstream on the straight helped us for sure, but I felt like that lap was pretty much on point. And despite our tyres being about 7 laps worn, it was pretty decent. Like, lap time was pretty decent. And you get to see Degna 2 there. We cut the corner. That's our second warning now. And to be honest, I wasn't even pushing. I was just like being cautious into Degna 2, braking early not to lock up, and end up just cutting the corner completely. And just lack of concentration there, I think, because I could have just turned in about like a 10th later and it would have been fine. But coming up to speed now, keeping in a higher gear than last lap, and that ends up getting us another fucking warning. And that's now 3 warnings in a row, or 3 warnings in this race, 2 in about space of 3-4 corners. and it's just stupid, really, just lack of concentration there. And yeah, it feels a bit like Hakkinen in Monza 99, just like not concentrating, end up making silly mistakes like that. We're just comfortably ahead. We were like 1.8 seconds ahead. We didn't need to push at all, and I was just being too cautious, not concentrating, and end up getting like another 2 warnings in like 4 or 5 corners. And to me, like, that's just not good at all. Like, I didn't like that at all, because that's not me to get like corner cut warnings in a race. Like, that's not usually me. I think the only time I've actually done this in AOR was Bahrain, so that's my only race where I picked up a time penalty. So to pick one here today through just silly mistakes, it just wasn't good enough for me. And yeah, coming to the chicane now, end of lap 10. Pressure's on to open a 3-second gap now, so we have to give it absolutely everything. Just forget about what happened with the time penalty, just give it absolutely everything. And you get to see now Martin Alonso actually pull into the pits, and I was kind of surprised with that, because usually Martin and Alonso like save their tyres as well. So I feel like they could have gone to lap 11 as well, but maybe they wanted an undercut on me, I'm not too sure. But my tyres were looking good, 69%. I could have probably even gone another lap, to be honest, because I think the degradation was about 5 or 6% a lap, so it would have meant 75% come now on the next lap. But either way, we're coming to the pits. We don't want to risk a puncture anymore, and I'm trying to pause, and the game won't let me pause. I'm actually trying to pause to check the warnings or penalties of Martin Alonso, but it just doesn't let me pause. Like, I'm pressing pause and it won't let me pause. It's just unpausing automatically. So yeah, I have literally no clue at this point if they have time penalties or warnings. And coming out the pits now, that's actually Limitless coming. He's coming into turn 1 now. Will he take? Yes, he does. He takes the place over us now. He's up to 2nd place, and that was close. That was really, really close. Too close to my liking, but that is racing. But yeah, that could have gone wrong for us a lot, massively. That just could have gone wrong. And looking at it now, the replay. So we're coming into turn 1 now, and in slow-mo, you get to see how close that was there. Just really, really close. But yeah, thankfully, no contact. We still remain in 3rd place, and the next car behind us is actually Martin. Gap's 1.9. So we definitely need to clear Limitless here. We can't lose any time behind him, and I think this is like 6th or 7th lap on his soft tyres, so he'll definitely be struggling at this point. His tyres are probably on the verge of falling off the cliff. And around Japan, a lot of tyre deck, worn tyres, just not good at all, especially through S's and Sector 2. And coming now into turn 1, so we're ahead, and now we just have to push again, just like we did on lap 7. We have to give it everything, push and try and open the gap. But it was going to be a bit harder this time, because we're on hard tyres, and the hard tyres, the delta gap between the hard and the softs, I think it was about 1.4 seconds around this track. So even if his tyres are worn, like, I think the delta would have been pretty similar, maybe about 2 or 3 tenths between us. So my tyres would be about 2 or 3 tenths quicker than his right now, rather than what was like 6-7 tenths early in the race. But you can see he made a mistake at Degner 2, I think. It was either Degner 1 or 2, and you can see how much time he lost. I think he lost about 3-4 tenths in those corners alone. But that gives us a bit of breathing space, and we can now get on with it. And you can see the gap we still have on the minimap. You can see the gap we have to Martin, and it looks like Alonso is still right behind Martin. So pretty sure they might battle in a bit, or they'll just work together to catch up. I'm not too sure. But now on the back straight, you'll get to see, with the low wing setup we have, Limitless is not, I'm not sure if he's in our slipstream completely, but he's not gaining at all on the back straight, and that's good for us. Running purple right now into the chicane. Let's see if we can actually get a faster lap here. We'll get to see now if we do come across the line now. Limitless doesn't pit, and we've set a 35 second. That's about a 10th quicker than what we did on mediums. You can see we turned off Jeff there to just concentrate and just try and open the gap. And yeah, you can see Martin and Alonso getting really close then to turn 1 on the minimap. But end of lap 14 now. I think this is when Limitless does pit. Coming around the last corner now. Yeah, he pulls into the pits, and that's us now in the lead comfortably, about I think 3 seconds, no, 2.8 seconds to Martin. We're setting a 35.8, which is about a 10th off our fastest lap. And you get to see that lap 19 now, scooping ahead. And to be honest, nothing much happened after limitless pit. Like next 5 laps or so, nothing happened. Just a just a battle between me and Martin Alonso, like lap time battle, a bit like Germany. And I had to open a 3-second gap due to the penalty we had, and I couldn't check if Martin had one. But yeah, coming now, I think this is when actually Alonso decides to go for a move on Martin, and I think he moves ahead of Martin. We'll get to see now if that is the case. Yeah, he moves ahead of Martin, so it looks like Alonso will now try and close the gap down, and I'm pretty sure Martin is clever enough to not batter him right now, because he knows him and Alonso could potentially close the gap to me. But cutting ahead now, 5-6 laps ahead, gap actually open between me and Alonso, and this was actually a pretty nice lap for me. I felt like it was a good lap, so I'll let you guys enjoy it. Setting a 35.8 there, only a 10th of our personal best, or our fastest lap when we did it early in the stint, and despite a bit of worn tyres, looks like a decent lap from us. But yeah, on to the last lap now. Tyres 71% on the right rear there, and yeah, just it was a good race. Like in terms of battling, I think the first 2 stints was pretty challenging, just to not only to open the gap to the cars behind, but also just going past like the field and everything. And as we come round the last corner now, cross the line to take our 7th win of the season, and this one's a pretty special one because I wanted to win it last season, but didn't get to. But this season we actually managed to do it quite comfortably, I must say. And that's our first 1-2 between me and Alonso there, our first STS 1-2, and it's nice to have that achievement with my brother there. Nice 1-2. Hoping for many more of that, and I think Martin finished right behind him in 3rd place. Limiters finished in 5th, and I think Jason finished 4th at the end. He also did the one-stop strategy. So yeah, it just shows to you also, if you look at the gap now, 16 seconds between me and Limiters, that shows how quicker the one-stop was. But yeah, at the end, it was a fairly decent race. I enjoyed it. Looking forward to the next 2 races to finish off the season on a high. Buzzing for them, and got a podium streak going on as well. I think I finished on the podium every race since Germany last season, season 12 Germany, so that's pretty nice. And looking at showed you guys the lap times there to show how consistent I was through the stints. And yeah, Alonso and Martin are pretty consistent as well, and them two didn't have a penalty. I think Martin had a time penalty, but Alonso didn't, so it's crucial that we opened that 3-second gap. But yeah, that is pretty much it from this race. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and hope to get the next 2 highlights out as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.